You're in the midst of changes, literally. You know what lightning looks like, in your world here? Well, now is beginning to appear behind your sun lightning. You're going to see it. In the days of Medjugorje, the signs showed you the sun stood still. Caused confusion and havoc in the minds of men. When you begin to see the display during your day of lightning from behind the sun, not in front of it, a marvel is going to begin to take place within you. The marvel is either recognition or fear. The recognition is that you know you came from someplace else, and where you came from is coming. To put it another way, who you came from is coming. This is the moment of display. That's why everybody's feeling this heaviness. You have gravity waves. They've discovered them scientifically, but that's what you're feeling. If you look at your moon tonight, you will feel it's closer. Not because it's going full either. Everything's being pushed by this planet ones don't want to say exist. It's in the orbits. Your sun does not stay still. In your world, it does. It is going through galaxies in a spiral formation, pulling planets with it. So too the planet coming in this orbital influence you're feeling now, the oceans you're feeling, your world is feeling with the cracking. Your Rocky Mountains are starting to slide and close roads. That's a prelude to the great cracking coming. The earthquakes are increasing, not only in frequency, but in intensity. Not only in intensity, but in depth. Scientifically, you could explain it if you have the concepts understood of what plasma is. The fluid body with consciousness that reacts to electric and magnetic impulses. Basically, it's a neutral body, yet it is affected by pull and push. The gravity of your planet is we're going to have to say flip, because as the poles begin to change, you will consider that a flip, but it's not flipping. It's getting stronger. There's going to be more pull. You're in not a theoretical model anymore. You're in the decomposition of consciousness. The decomposition of consciousness, preparing itself to reconstitute. As the apple fell from the tree, decomposed, turned into the soil, and again the fluid consciousness within the apple was pushed into the tree to become an apple again. Some apples are picked off the tree before they fall. What causes the fall of the apple? It wasn't the pull of gravity. It contributed to it. It contributed to it. The tree could no longer support the consciousness of the apple. You call it weight. The pull of gravity. Consciousness is influenced by gravity. Your earth is not only gravitational attracted to you, light body, well, seed, consciousness becoming in you, Christ frequency, what you want to say. It's the expansion of a knowing in the fact, within the understanding, your life comes from the inward breath, and the perpetuation comes from the exhale. And that understanding, what you breathe in, thought-wise, consciousness supports you. The food is for the elemental kingdoms in you. And the conscious understanding, you're going to realize you are literally living your death. This consciousness machine. And the light part of you that thinks, and there's a part of you that thinks it's thinking, and there's a part of you that entertains the thoughts of others, and there's a part of you that's influenced by the thoughts of others, and there's a part of you that's worried about the thoughts of others. The comeback is that a lot of those thoughts are coming back to you because that's what you were thinking. And the orders are becoming stronger and the thoughts are bouncing off. No. So you're going to receive what you sent out. The Christ frequency is with everybody. The Lord's prayers for the Lord God of your being, for the Lord's, to the Lord's, by the Lord's, from the Lord's, all of that. That's the secret within it. But you deny your lordship, or, in the human condition, you take your lordship to overlord everything else. You can't control your own systems, cellular structures. You can't change the shape of your fingers yet. You barely know how your chakras work, except for the root. Everyone's got that one down. You forgot you're a spiral entity. The time is a direction, it's up and down. The horizontal linear movement is what you use to conceptualize your moment in space. Your moment. Your moment in agreement with others. 12 o'clock, blah, 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 blah. You're not aware of the spin of the planet, how you can slow it down and speed it up. You're not aware yet that you affect the tides in the oceans. You're not aware yet that the oceans are what pull and push the moon. You're not aware yet how the wind becomes. The silence before the days that you have experienced the silence lately, that's a silence. That's the what you call the divine invisible presence looking. And then he'll bring the wind to clean what needs to be cleaned. House cleaning is going on this planet now. Literally. Your march is going to seem like March. Like an army's marching. The confusion is going to come in the lower portion of your pelvic area. The lower portion of your mind, your beingness, your grounding force. Down here. There's going to be a tendency to lean forward and fall. You're going to lean backward and walk. So your heels have more contact now. You need the soles of your feet and your heels making contact before your toes. Or with your toes. You're going to stabilize in your walking process. Your shoulders are going to begin to take electrical hits because they're actually rods of energy and force. It's going to force the chakras behind your shoulder blades to open. That's where your wings come out, whatever the display you're using. And when that happens, the heart chakra opens. And actually the apex of the pyramid and the soul falls down. You're on a platform exposing yourself for redemption or whatever. And then it'll flip back up. And this is the day you'll feel it. You'll feel like a changed person, but not know how to react as a changed person. Because of your past actions that predetermine things. So this is backing up now where you have the opportunity, I'll say you this, in your sleep state to petition for grace and mercy for yourself and others. For everyone. For everyone. You're not going to be of use or of service for anything if you're laying down. There's going to be, to say this, a dramatic change in consciousness. Number one, the ability to think. Number two, to realize what you're thinking. And number two, how you are receiving the information for what you call thinking. Because your heart is a drum. It's being beaten, drum beat, by the one that owns you. And the new beats coming in to each chamber is going to change your cellular structure. Because the little one of you that hides in between the four chambers in the cave of you, the brilliant white light is designed to come forth and manifest in what you would term as the healing capacity for all things. You will have the ability to be youthful again, youthful, and therefore useful. All you have to do in this time is to remember when you were younger. Not the circumstances you were in when you were younger, but the fact that you were younger, whatever age. That brings the youth memory to you, and light functions off that, without having to worry about the condemnation that you received at the time you were youthful in this worldly consciousness. It's going to change. I'm going to say it again, your planet is going to crack. California is going to be an island. Europe is going to split into many islands. Italy will not be there. Africa is going to turn upside down, inside out actually. Water is coming up into the desert. It's coming up. It's coming up, bubbling up. It's in your news. Middle of Gaza. It's going to come up in Africa too. It is coming up. They photographed it. They videotaped it. They're in awe. If they had any common sense, they'd get away from that area. But they don't. They're mesmerized. Science can't explain it. It's the plasmic entity. Plasma within the center of your earth thing is moving. And it's moving because Nibiru is getting closer. It's affecting everything. The entity you call Zoroaster is about to show up. He drives a different ship than most are aware of. When that ship flies, nothing else flies. Nothing. Nothing. That includes electricity. You're going to have to know how, particularly as you see it coming, prepare. You're going to have to know how to grow a food. Because when cracking starts, your roads will not be available for transportation. You won't worry about communication. You're going to be worried about water, and the heat, the fun. We'll put it this way. The mind of the sun is going to push consciousness toward you. You would term it like microwave energy. It is the mind of the sun. The sun is an entity. It has intelligence and it has a spiritual force. The spiritual force teaches the intelligence of the sun. Each planet has a spiritual force and an intelligent force. The intelligent force does not mean it's intelligent. It means it has the capacity to learn. The spiritual force is what teaches the intelligence. Your spiritual force is going to teach your intelligence. The same with the planet Earth. Your day come one May is going to be a magical understanding of the feminine aspect of what is termed fertility in all things. The proper processing of it, the proper procedure for it, and the proper respect for the production produced. Because that has not happened here. So you're going to go to ancient knowledge coming back. But it has to be used differently. And the first attempt with it will be not correct. Because you haven't learned anything yet. You barely know how you wake up. You barely remember how you do things in your sleep. Why? because you're caught in the words of others, and you're using words that you don't know what they do really. But sometimes it's pleasant to hear yourself speaking, when it's not always appropriate. So you have to calm the inner part now, because there's a blooming going on within you. The seed you were that entered the egg is the seed you are entering another egg, when you're going to find out that you are the egg and you're about ready to hatch. That's why your bones are so important. That's the message in these crystal skulls and things. You have a capacity to rise your own vibration, so your skull and your skeleton becomes more crystalline to receive a higher frequency energy, which is really in turn proper thought, proper being. You become a being for beings, and you realize it. So that in a manner, the decomposition of the apple doesn't take place. They can become a disappearance function as the apple falls. It's present into space as light, is ingested by everyone and everything, provides life as it's providing life for you now. The air is providing you life. It is there. The God force is there, right in front of your nose. And what you do with it is your result. Your body is the manifested mind. Because of horizontal linear time, it takes what you would say a process of years for manifestation to truly take place as you desired it. But you forgot of the wish or the desire from the years ago have manifested now in these years. The process wasn't fast enough internally. Yet that internal process is speeding up now, and that's why it's necessary to slow down, pull into your skeletal structure, actually beyond it, move behind you, and look forward through you in the presence of space around you. When you start doing this, you're going to feel others, like children, invisible ones, not necessarily all good, that will want to attach themselves to your light. They'll feel it like someone grabbing you close. So you need peace, the beings. As a wave of ocean comes in, just before it hits, it curls and flats. That's what this gravity wave is going to do. You can curl it before it hits you. When you begin to feel heavy, curl it down. Calm it. It has consciousness. But if you're not aware that it has consciousness, you have no consciousness, and you're going to be affected by it. You can communicate with space, and I'm not talking about ETs. I'm talking with anything in the space. And it's called the presence of self. Presence of self. In that presence of self, bullets can be flying by you, you're still yourself. You might not know how, but it's the presence of the self. You beings like to say, it's the high self. Well, it's really the God self within you. The Christ frequency that you acknowledged and the Christ frequency that's acknowledging you is in you. Not going to get it from anyone else. It's already there. You bury it, you bury it. You doubt it, you doubt it. You don't believe it, you don't believe it. It's your anger, your frustration. Because what you're going to find out, everybody's going to need to do something. And if you're not doing, you'll be done. literally. There will be a necessity to move, and there will also be a necessity to accomplish things. Not just to move. The accomplishment of things is what gives the internal structure of you its reward. No matter what it is, washing a dish, washing a cup, picking something up, anything where it accomplishes a deed. It gives a sense within the little one of you of worth. It is an anchor. And what you're beginning to develop, you have 7 chakras, they're going to end up being 3. A set down here, these 2, a set in the middle, these 2, a set up here. 7th above. Within the 3 groupings, there's going to be an anchor. Literally, it's going to look like an anchor. A big ship anchor. That's to balance and hold the electrical current that you're going to get. If you're not in the center of your being, one anchor will be over here, the other anchor will be over here to your right, the other anchor will be up to the left, and you'll be stuck in these places. And that's when the brain falls. Literally. The brain will fall. You have these patterns already holographically inscribed in your skull. All of the stars you see came from the black hole out by Sirius. Everything was pushed out there, from there. There's a fountain there. You go down the fountain. You come up the other side of the fountain. It's a fountain of light. That's what it is, beyond the black hole. And then you come back in through that fountain, back this way. Sirius B. It's like Pony Express. You're the rider, you change horses. You go to Sirius A, you change horses. And then you come into the constellation of Orion, to the center star of Jerusalem Command. You change horses. But what you don't understand yet is you're the horse being changed. Because you all have a rider. You all have a rider. In the world, the mediums, they know what horses are. All mediums are horses. You're all horses. You just haven't found out who your rider is yet. Well, you do know. So it's those junctions now that are working. The knowledge-based process of this system is you have to remember who your trainer was as you were the horse. And the bridle that you're wearing, the one who's controlling it. You make a conscious connection with that entity, which in what you would term as your high self, really. Your highest self, participating down here. Not for your own benefit, yet it is for a process, but it's truly for the benefit of others. They're delivering a message. What's the message? Though all you've been through, you're still alive. And it was, you know, it wasn't because of your genius. You're coming into that recognition now. When you go through your illnesses and things, you might contribute to a pill. But there's something else that's working there. The knowledge-based systems. Transference of energy. If you really know what you were doing, you would find out who made the pill. When you grow your own food, you know who made it and for what reason. And the food's growing for you because it knows what for. The food is the healer. The herbs are the healers. You're the ones that's supposed to handle it. And the herb will know you and know what needs the correction for. You don't know who made your medicine, who even touched it. That's silly. If you knew what comes out of people's hands just because of what they're thinking, if they're touching a bottle, you wouldn't touch it. The thoughts in there, especially your fluid bottles. You're drinking someone else's thoughts. How's that going to save the party? So that's why you bless water. That's why you bless your drink. To calm the consciousness of the producer of it, unless you know the producer and accept it. That's why with sacred substances there's always prayers and songs going on in the process of it. For that reason. Sacred music producing sacred substance. You, beings, physical hormonal beings, are truly sacred substance. Yet you forgot it. Or you think you're more sacred than someone else. Which is an even bigger trap. The thankfulness should always be in the breath. And from the one inside you, knows how to distribute that force throughout you.